Hi there. I promise a change of pace, some pretty pictures, some nice animations, and hopefully some interesting debate. Given the conference is all about the future of TV, I thought it'd just be a good point to start on that very topic. I think as an industry, we get caught up on the challenges we face and not on the opportunities, because I passionately believe that the future of TV has never been brighter. The future of TV can start now if we take control. If we take control of the narrative and we take control of the evolution of our technology. And there are 4 reasons why I think that that is so. The first is that it is not a bad thing that consumers are choosing to access more content from more devices at their will when they want to. It's a good thing. It means the content we provide is highly demanded, highly viewable, highly engaging. But it also means that there are significantly more data points and capabilities that have never been around before, which we as an industry can all utilize for the benefit of the end customer, and by the end customer I mean the advertiser. I think there is a change in the conversation, though, that we need to start having, which is about business outcomes. So not focusing just on the transaction, the number of GPs or the GRPs or the budget, but focus on what a campaign and a marketeer is trying to achieve. That doesn't mean trading on profit share or return on investment, but trying to create solutions that work for the campaign and the marketeer. And I think, as we heard from a number of panels today, and indeed from the last panel, that the opportunity for TV is not either or. It's not brand or performance. It's not long-term only or short-term only. I think the opportunity is for TV to play at the top of the funnel, the middle, and the bottom of the funnel. Historically, the performance end of the funnel used to be the domain of direct mail, search, and online. That is no longer the case, and anyone that thinks it is plain wrong and misunderstanding the power of TV. And come and see me afterwards. I'm joking. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that the competitive set is changing. We've heard lots of talk about Facebook and Google, and you've probably seen me talk about this slide a few times, but that needs to be a consideration in everything we do. We shouldn't assume that the cozy little ecosystem of TV is viable for the long term. A marketeer looks at a campaign holistically and not in verticals or silos. We should address that. We should understand that and embrace that. So taking those 4 points in order, first, change in viewing. Change in viewing is coming about because of customer demand, partially because of the new entrants into the market, partially because of the likes of Netflix, Amazon, etc., but partially because choice wins loyalty, loyalty wins viewing, and viewing for us and our broadcast partners drives revenue. And whether you, excuse me, these are UK sort of images, but whether you think about the Sky Q box in the UK or the Virgin V6 box in the UK, the customer choice has never been greater. To be able to download box sets or stacked box sets, to be able to watch whenever you want a movie or an entertainment show, there is a real change in that consumption behavior, but it changes by genre. At one extreme, whether it be live sports or live content, like I'm a Celebrity, that will still stay the majority live viewing, 85% plus live viewing. But all the way down to the other end of that spectrum in movies, you want that moment where you are in control, you can lean back, and you can watch the movie in your own environment. Customer control is a good thing. It should be embraced. However, it does present a couple of challenges. We need to think about how we measure. And there was a panel earlier about how should we be thinking about cross-platform measurement. It's not impossible, but it does require collaboration. It does require sharing of a combination and combining of a combination of data sets. It requires an understanding and verification of brand safety, because we exist and operate in a global market, not just in a TV market. We've applied moat tags across all of our platforms, and we moved to have moat verified measurement across our set-top box. But our ambition, and that we have started to undertake today, to build to create a solution for the interim until Barb creates Barb Dovetail or releases Barb Dovetail, is the very best of Sky's data and industry available data, independently audited, methodology provided by third parties, consulted with the agencies, with the requirements delivered by the agencies, to give us a single point of reach and frequency across multiple platforms. That's global or countrywide GRPs alongside first-party data. We are in beta now, we're going to the market in Q1, and by Q3 that will be live on a portal for agencies to interact and report on a post-campaign basis. You will have heard me talk a lot about products in the past, and I kind of need to apologise for that because it's probably a little bit boring. But in reality, these products enable us to have a different conversation. The products that we built, or the capabilities we built, are centering around three main areas: in understanding analytics, both enabling advertisers to plan and agencies to plan, execute, and evaluate their campaigns. So analytics, addressability, and then cross-screen, connecting TV to multi-platform. Because I keep saying it, TV does not exist in a vacuum. A campaign needs to be served holistically and not in isolation. I don't agree that we need to own our own tech stack. We can't afford to. But we can choose best in breed, best in market. But that only takes us so far. What we really need is an aggregation of brilliant, compelling, engaging content. We need scale in terms of households, both linear, on demand, and in digital environments. Third-party technology and owned and operated. Data at scale, whether it be data in terms of targeting attributes or indeed viewing panels. The Sky viewing panel now, we operate 2 viewing panels, one at 500,000, capped and scaled, to be representative of the Sky sort of universe, and the other is a full census that today is about 3.2 million households. By the middle of next year, that'll be well above 6 million. Every single second of viewing to program sponsorship on the Sky platform from those 6 million households. A hugely powerful tool. And with that and our understanding of cross-platform journeys and user interaction across Sky devices, you can really understand how people port between TV and digital. If you like, when I think about ad tech, I think about it as Airfix models, taking the very best bit and combining it to get the perfect solution at the end. And you'll see all sorts of names up there, whether it be DataZoo, Freewheel, Adobe. You know, we do use data processing with companies like TV Beat, because we know that's not what we're good at. They are much better, but the combination of all of those pieces allow us to bring technologies together. One of the things I'm most proud of is the fact that we've been able to create a partnership with Liberty Global and Virgin in the UK and Ireland, which will take our addressable footprint from some 7 million households to the potential of just over 11 million, 11.5 million, which is significant scale. Significant scale with a consistent single point of entry addressable solution across the best content with full data scale and really, really powerful technology, not just across Sky channels, but across a number of others, more than 100 channels active today, from Channel 5, Viacom, Discovery, A&E, the list goes on. The targeting capability goes to in excess of 4,500 fixed attributes. And I heard Philip talking about first-party data. We've had the capability to blend advertiser first-party data in a data-compliant way now for a couple of years, and it's our fastest-growing capability across a range of segments that advertisers require, and it's constantly iterating at the request of the advertisers and the agency, because we have to continue to evolve the capability, and it's working. I remember standing on this stage a few years ago and saying our ambition was to make TV more relevant to more brands. And if you look at that chart, the top right, 74% of the advertisers are either new to TV or new to Sky. Whether that be hyperlocal, a florist or a car dealership targeting households within a 5-mile commute, or whether that be tightly targeted in terms of affluence or things like that. So that might be the automotive market again. Aston Martin, Porsche, Maserati, and McLaren that Stephen mentioned this morning have all used AdSmart, and they're all booking again. They would never have used TV before. It's growing the overall cake, and it's bringing new to TV advertisers. I mentioned the Virgin relationship, but I absolutely believe that there is an opportunity to have this consistency across multiple platforms. And I have, I think, pretty strong and clear line of sight to a world where we have household penetration to well in excess of 60% by 2022. That is a meaningful step change in household reach and household penetration for addressability. But the question, or the challenge that has been laid down is, you're making it complicated because you're making it too deep. The targeting's too rich, the reporting's too granular. Make it easy for me. Allow me to plan and execute my campaigns in an automated way. So we're in beta with agencies at the moment. We're on our final sprints before we go live on the 6th of January with a tool that allows people to plan their campaigns via a portal and then save proposals that then get uploaded into our system and then responded, confirmed, and then executed against once the copy is uploaded. It is a drop-down menu from 4,500 attributes. An advertiser or an agency or a buyer can save as many different versions of that and get proposals back and then press accept, and that is then executed into our system. Slight confession, behind the scenes there is a bit of hamster wheel work, but it will iterate over time. But you can see how a local advertiser on that image that was just there before can actually put a pin in the map and then target against it. That portal will have planning, you'll then have your delivery, and for those advertisers that have interaction, engagement, transaction data, will then see their efficacy, their ROI reports on the back of it. Excuse me, I talked about TV not existing in isolation. You think about that power of that TV data. You think about how agencies and advertisers need to work with us as media owners. They want to join TV so it's a single execution. And in partnership with the agencies and through data matching, we can serve those campaigns across multiple platforms using device graphs, whether it be third-party data with Axiom, LiveRamp, Tapad, those sorts of places. The first-party data as well as Sky data. So all of our customer IDs alongside the device IDs, all in a third-party escrow, data compliant, to power and drive effective advertising outcomes, whether that be across linear TV, connected TV, OTT, or mobile and digital. That was the quick part of the presentation. This is the bit I want to talk about, changing the conversation. The AA presentation earlier I thought was hugely powerful, and the point that they made, which I think was the most eloquent of all, because it was backed up by fact and a case study and not just the bullshit you see, sorry, I didn't mean to say that word, not just the nonsense you see in the trade press about it is either addressable or it is brand, and if you don't offer one, you're dead, or if you offer the other one, you're dead. It's about playing in both games. I like rugby and football. I'm not just one thing, I can be both. And the long and the short of it, the piece of research carried out by Burnett and Field is spot on, and it's backed up by fact. Their recommendation, which changed by campaign, by industry, is that an advertiser or a brand should invest in the long term, generally, in their experience, 60% of their investment, and the short-term activation performance, 40%. Which means, as media owners and platforms, we need to change our conversation, whether we're in the UK, Europe, or the USA. We need to change our conversation to talk the language of the marketeer, not the language of the salesperson. Yes, I have targets. Yes, I have ambitions. But that's not important to them. They really don't care. So what you'll see from Sky and our partners, and actually as a sort of an ambition, is shared by Linda at NBCU in all the conversations we've had over the last few weeks, is shifting that conversation to be meaningful to the campaign or the marketing objective. And this is just a selection of the requests, the inbound we've had in from clients. And some of that plays to the long of it, long-term brand building. And that might be, I don't know, light viewers. Because we all know in TV, once you hit a certain cover, the cost per incremental cover point becomes quite expensive. But if you can target the lightest of those TV viewers and can do it in a cost-effective way, you can use addressable as part of your long-term branding ambitions. Who'd have thought of that? Unbelievable. Or to Stephen's point, thermal activation. We were talking about, or he was talking about hay fever sufferers and antihistamines and all those sort of things. We have campaigns that are run on the basis of activation based on temperature or pollen count. That's live, not quite all year round, because the pollen count and the temperature isn't that high in the winter months. But really driving both short-term outcomes and long-term outcomes, really changing the conversation for the market. And of course, within that plan, there will be elements of AdSmart and Advance and linear and sponsorship or all sorts of things. But each of them, I would hope, will have a different mix of linear with a different mix of addressable, a different mix of VOD to linear, depending on the audience you might be trying to reach. But it's not about me and my products, it's about the outcome. And that has to be our driving thought in our product iteration and our product roadmaps going forward. So for me, when I think about the future, when I think about servicing channels, our channel partners, our platform partners, but more importantly, our marketing industry and our marketing partners, we have to think about flexibility. We have to solve for the issue of brand and performance coexisting either on the same campaign, but if not that, within the same product portfolio or advertiser portfolio. We have to think about long-term and short-term and measure it. We should think about how we can use local to amplify national, and rather than just think about a one-size-fits-all. But I think also, or more importantly than all of that, we need to think about how we drive long-term profitability, short-term effectiveness, and long-term effectiveness, and sales overall. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Do we have any questions for Jamie? We'll put the lights up because we can't see if we have anyway otherwise. There we go. Anybody got a question for Jamie?
I'm under time as well.
Oh, this lady here, she's very good.
Sorry,
She has lots of questions.
Jamie, if you're so committed to working with advertisers to achieve their objectives, would you ever move from, say, a CPM basis to a CPA?
We have. Where an advertiser is fully able and willing to share outcome data. It's not right for all, but we have shared reward or shared risk, depending on which way you want to be, cup half full, cup, whichever way you want to be. That happens today and continues to happen. There are some advertisers that know the effectiveness in TV and don't really want to share the upside when you see multi-million-pound sales, but we exist across fixed price, sort of cost per thousands against target audiences, as well as shared reward as well. So we are prepared to trade in many different routes.
Any others?
Can't have been that bad.
No, well, you might have been that good. You never know, really. Oh, there we go. Far side. Could you say who you are, please?
Michel van der Voort, Screenforce from the Netherlands. Beautiful presentation, very impressive. What did it mean for your sales team, moving from selling airtime to helping marketeers with getting the targets realized?
So we've had to probably, quite challenging for the sales team, because we've had to evolve and iterate since we launched our addressable and data capability 5 years ago. Every year something has had to evolve. What is clear is not everyone wants to trade or focus on outcomes. So we have our core linear understanding. We've built new teams that are, in some cases, are embedded in advertisers or embedded in agencies. But the data understanding is across the business now. We have specialists, of course, but across all of Sky Media in the UK and increasingly in Germany and Italy, there is a sort of a sheep dipping of understanding of what data capability and business outcomes really means. And when we need to, we then deploy the experts, which are not me, but people that know what they're talking about, who will go in and work sort of hand in hand with each of the advertisers and marketing teams. And you had two people on a panel today in Direct Line and Expedia who both work very closely with us. We have fantastic relationships with them, but that's all about understanding their long-term goals and long-term targets, which means we're involved in the conversation, 6 months before we ordinarily would have been in the old world. And that's relatively labour intensive, but I can tell you it's really rewarding because we can see the benefit and we can shift the dial through the campaign and after the campaign to improve and iterate over time.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions we've got time for. To your great relief, I'm sure not. But thank you very much, Jamie. Jamie West.